All right, welcome to the warm-up. That's my man Jeff Power over there. Again, he's on yet another power trip. My guy, Jeff Power, I'm Warful Soul. We are talking Houston, week 4 football. Man, oh geez, we got one more week until we're at the halfway mark. I feel like we just started, but
no doubt.
It always happens every year, doesn't
it? It does.
Let's get into some week 4 games here, Jeff. We're talking the lineup, and we are talking the Woodlands at Willis. Willis has won that freaking title the last 2 years, and the Woodlands wants it back. This could be a way to show them what time it is, isn't it?
That's right. Well, the Woodlands at Willis. You know, the Woodlands top Grand Oaks 45-14 in week 3. The Highlanders defense had a pick 6 to start the game. That was kind of the theme all weekend, by the way, a lot of pick 6s. Their offense is led by TCU commit Jack Dalton at quarterback. He helped the Woodlands race out to a 31-7 halftime lead. The Highlanders, by the way, defeated Deer Park 30-20, and they also beat Cinco Ranch in week 1 27-0. The Willis Wildcats defeated Katy Crink 49-0. Of course, Katy Crink not able to muster up much offense there, but I tell you what, after starting the season with a 42-14 win over Benjamin Davis High School, the problem I'm noticing is like Klein Collins Tigers proved that the trenches are where games are won when you play Willis. The Tigers beat Willis 42-13 in week 2 behind 269 yards on the ground. Willis only managed 48 yards on the ground in that game. So my question is, which Willis team is going to show up? The one that played against Collins or the other 2 victories? But there's no question, Willis can throw the football around. Quarterback Lincoln Frazier has 9 TD passes, 6 to Jermaine Bishop, who's averaging close to 180 yards receiving per game. He's headed to UT. Willis, they may have to go the route of opening up their offense with the passing game and then work on the ground game as they go.
Yeah, we're going to have as a spoiler, we're going to have a story on Jermaine Bishop this week, so it's going to be one you want to catch. Hopefully he leads into it with some great highlights against the Woodlands. Another game, Richmond Randle against Fort Bend Marshall down there at Hall Stadium. I'm a little nervous for Marshall after what we saw Landon Williams-Callis do last week against Travis. He seems to feast on these Fort Bend teams.
Yeah, Fort Bend Marshall rallied to beat Crosby 17-14, scoring the game's final 10 points. And after defeating Friendswood in week 1, 24-14, they are 2-0, but you know what? I'm not seeing a lot out of their offense so far. Texas A&M commit Caden Johnson is the Buffs quarterback. He had a TD run against Crosby. DeJohn Taylor is Johnson's go-to receiver for the defending 5A D2 state champs. Marshall, known for, track as well after winning the state title in 2024. They've got speed, but their offense definitely off to a little bit of a slow start despite the 2-0 record. Fort Bend Marshall head coach James Williams has been with Marshall for 11 seasons. He was previously the defensive coordinator for Hightower and also Manvel. He'll get things fixed, but beating Randle will be a challenge. Of course, Randle topped Travis 56-29, as you mentioned. Randle jumps on teams early. They had 21 in the first quarter last week, 21 in the third quarter coming out of the locker room in that game. Running back Landon Williams-Callis had 326 yards on 22 carries and 6 TDs. So Williams-Callis has 610 yards rushing in 3 games, averaging 12 yards per carry. He's the real deal. He's only 5'7", 180 pounds. He gets those comparisons to Emmitt Smith, Reggie Bush. But I tell you what, LWC, he's already got 4,639 yards rushing and 77 touchdowns in just 32 varsity games. He's a junior, don't forget.
Yeah, we got another year to see him, which is good for us Houston fans. All right, well, you got big small school matchup up at Sealy, one that you will be taking your PowerPoint to. Sealy is taking on Bay City. That looks like it's going to be a dandy.
Yeah, the 3-0 Bay City Blackcats defeated the Columbia Roughnecks. I always like that name. 28-20. Running back Aiden Williams averaging 120 yards per game on the ground. Quarterback Camarion Wiggins, 5 touchdowns. Bay City's beaten Edna 42-14 and Sweeney 38-14. So combined scoring total of 118-48 in the 3 games this season. Sealy, by the way, you talk about some point spread differential, coming off a 58-0 win over Brazosport on the heels of a 64-0 win over Cameron Yo. Yo's had some great teams over the years. Tigers open with an impressive 33-18 win over Navasota. So the Tigers are 3-0. They're looking for revenge against Bay City. You might remember that game last year, 35-34. The Blackcats won in overtime. And the Tigers beat Bay City at home the year before 7-6. So if history tells us anything, it's going to be a 1-point game, maybe with Sealy winning over at TJ Mills Stadium since it's a home game for him. By the way, their quarterback, Kane Kalo, he is definitely a stud. 10 touchdowns, 9 on the ground. And I also like what Romeo Castillo's doing, about 107 yards rushing on the ground per game, 5 TDs. And their defense pitched a couple of shutouts, as I mentioned. So they're loaded as well.
It's going to be another fun environment that we're sending you into, Jeff. And for more on that game, I got a chance to talk with Black Cat head coach Robert Jones and talk about his Bay City Black Cats.
The Houston area Chevy dealers. Visit your nearest Chevy dealer to test drive our award-winning products. Serving up the best treats and eats in Texas. Stop by DQ and treat yourself before and after the game.
All right, Coach Jones, you guys are off to yet another great start down there at Bay City. I know it's, 2-3 games into it, so I can't get too crazy on you.
Yes, sir.
But it's not like you're, jacking away from the competition. You're playing teams that are perennial powers that go deep in the playoffs and their classifications, and you're handling them pretty well. How do you feel about the way the Black Cats are playing right now going into week 4?
Well, I'm excited. Like I've been telling a lot of interviews early in the season, we lost a lot of guys from last year. We lost a special senior class that won a lot of football games for us. And I've been telling, everybody I've been in every interview that we got some dudes that are ready to make a name for themselves. And they've been doing a great job of getting out there making plays. And the offense, defense is all they complement each other. The kids are just out there buying into the program and just seeing it come to tuition with the young guys that we got on the field this year. It's a special thing to see.
Well, they are certainly making a name for themselves, and they have a chance. They got one more chance in the non-district to make a name again as you guys head up to Sealy. I'll tell you what, Coach, that game has been a tight contest, at least the last couple of years. 1-point games both times. Talk to me about your feeling going, because you got to go on the road this time. Talk about your feeling going up to Sealy, playing a team that you have been such competitive games with.
Well, Sealy, as good as advertised. Coach Clint Finley got he got a great program up there, got the kids bought in. They got some great athletes. I think it's going to be a special night Friday. The team that, with the least amount of mistakes. And I think it's going to be another close ball game, hard fought ball game. And I think that I like our chances. We're going to put in a great week of practice, capitalize on some of the stuff that we seen on film that hopefully we can make some big plays on Friday night.
I was going to say, what are you looking at the film? And I know you're probably in there Sunday night looking at some stuff Sunday during the day. While I'm sitting back watching this NFL stuff, you're busy. You're busy in the film room. Tell me what you saw on film that you're going to need to do to get past these Tigers.
Well, first of all, we got to start with that quarterback they got. He's a tough runner. If he come up and run, he'll pop up and throw it to the flat. So everybody got to be assignment sharp, do their job. And on offense, we just got to be explosive. We got to start fast. We got to finish strong.
This is kind of a deal where we're going to be leading into this district play. I know the last realignment when you saw the districts coming out and you see yourself down in a Region 4 type deal. I don't know. I'm not going to tell you your eyes lit up, but it's kind of a different road to go through Region 4 than is Region 3. After going through it one time and you're getting through the Sealy game, how excited are you to get into district play coming up soon and be able to get yourself a top spot and get yourself in a prime position to make another deep playoff run?
Yeah, absolutely. Like going to Region 4, coming from the district that we came from and you're going through the Houston area, you got to go through East Texas the first and second round of the playoffs. It was a blessing not to see those type of teams early, and hopefully we get a chance to play them in the semifinals. But going south, a very competitive district we had last year with Lavernia, Calhoun, and El Campo. They always going to be. We got a tough district, one of the toughest districts in the state of Texas, in my opinion. And I know this game right here going up to Sealy is going to be a big game for us to give us see where we're at for going against the district. And hopefully the main thing is getting out healthy. You know what I'm saying? We hope to play a competitive game and come out and be victorious on Friday, but I just want to make sure our guys healthy going into district where the games really count.
Perfect, Coach. District play starting up soon. We'll get some more of these trophies up there behind you.
Yes,
appreciate you joining me, Coach, and we'll talk to you soon.
All right, thank you. Thank you for all you do.
The Houston area Chevy dealers. Visit your nearest Chevy dealer to test drive our award-winning products. Parker University. Check out our bachelor's degree in strength and human performance today.
I tell you, that's going to be a great game. I can't wait to see them highlights when it comes out. But let's talk about some other games that you guys shouldn't be missing in the agenda, including a sweet Thursday game where Katy Tigers try to get back on track as they take on Katy's Cinco Ranch.
Well, and Katy got into the win column, 57-0 over Morton Ranch. That's a district game. The previous two games, Katy had given up 52 points to Atascocita in week 2 and 34 to Dickinson in week 1. But now we've clearly seen Atascocita and Dickinson are really good. So that shutout was huge for Katy's confidence. I'm confident, by the way, that the hardest working coach in America, Gary Joseph, has the Tigers back on track just in time for district play. Of course, they're 1-0 now in district play. The offense is just fine, averaging 38 points per game. Defense, after the shutout, looking pretty good. Cinco Ranch, by the way, they bounced back after starting 0-2 with a 27-0 loss to the Woodlands and a 24-14 loss to Tomball. They beat Seven Lakes 42-3 in a district game. So Cinco Ranch with a really good start right there in district play. They had 4 picks in that game, Ward. Imagine that. So the defense looking good. The Cougars offense led by Marcus Godlin, who had 3 touchdowns and 144 yards rushing. So they're going to need him. They're going to need to stay balanced. They averaged right around 143 passing and rushing last week. So that's the kind of balance they'll need against Katy.
And speaking about district play, 15-6A looks to be a dogfight. You remember last year it went down to week 11, and we still had no clue who the last 2 playoff teams would be. So games like this, Tomball Memorial against Magnolia, are going to go a long way in figuring out who could make those 4 playoff spots. Who do you see coming out of this game that's being played up in Magnolia?
Well, Tomball Memorial is coming off a bye week, and that's always huge for the coaching staff. They can get ready for that next opponent, which is like 2 weeks away. But they recorded a 40-10 win over Side Creek on September 6th. That was their 3rd straight win over the Cougars. Jackson Robertson's a stud at QB for Memorial. He had 285 yards passing and is averaging about 11 yards per pass attempt, plus had 2 touchdown passes. Carter Hamilton, 93 yards receiving and a TD catch. So they're 2-0 with a 40-20 win over Humble to start the season. Magnolia, by the way, slipped past Klein Oak. That's a good win, 20-13. Magnolia likes to go no huddle, and they jumped on the Panthers early last week, 20-7 by halftime. I like their tight end, by the way, Carson Smith. He wears number 88. Watch out for him. He's a huge target. He had a great game. Magnolia did beat Lake Creek out of Montgomery in week 1, 41-12, and they beat College Station in week 2, 43-32. So I like this matchup. Couple of undefeated teams, Magnolia and Tomball Memorial.
And finally, let's get into 22-6A. Shadow Creek's taking on Manvel. Shadow Creek, I penciled them in for the playoffs before the season even started. It's probably going to look at them in Pearland for the district crown, but Manvel needs to pick up some wins here in district play, and maybe they can pull off an upset here against Shadow Creek at Freedom Field.
Well, Shadow Creek had no trouble with Alvin last week, winning 55-0, of course 39-0 in week 1 over Clear Creek. So the defense has been key for Shadow Creek since that 37-33 loss to Summer Creek, which still stings, but hey, as we will find out, Summer Creek is still number 1 in the coaches poll for a reason, right? Manvel had no issues with Pasadena Memorial, winning 67-7. Cam Renfro's the quarterback, 487 yards passing and 4 TDs to go with 241 yards rushing this season in 3 games. Manvel running back Kenneth Malone Hayes had 3 of his 5 TDs in this game against Pasadena Memorial. So watch out for him. 153 yards rushing this season. Eric Mosley, by the way, the 3rd, he's also another good-looking running back for them. 218 on the ground so far this year. But remember, Manvel, they lost to Barbers Hill 40-35. The Mavs started the season with a 52-21 win over Galveston Ball, but Manvel has kind of been that long-time dominant team out of this area. Shadow Creek recently has kind of replaced them as that new team to beat. I think these 2 teams are clashing at the right time. This will go a long way in determining a district title.
Absolutely, man. That's our preview of Week 4, man. You'll see Jeff had a couple games this week. If you see him, say hello to him. He'll say hi back. He's a very friendly guy. Are you a friendly guy? He's a friendly guy. Says hi to me all the time. Anyway, we're going to leave you today with the coaches poll, which Jeff has mentioned. We'll see who's we know who's at the top. See what kind of, there's been some movement. So we'll see what kind of teams have made some moves here. We'll see you next week. Bye.